Ever wonder what makes Warren Buffett tick? I mean, we hear Oracle of Omaha, we see the billions, but what's the story behind the fortune?
Right.
Today's deep dive takes us beyond those headlines, digging into the man himself. And to do that, we're jumping into Alice Schroeder's biography, The Snowball.
It's not just about stock tips.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here is how Buffett's journey, even back to his childhood, reveals these fundamental truths about business and life.
Okay, so let's unpack this. I was looking through excerpts and this one detail grabbed me. Buffett wasn't running a lemonade stand as a kid. He was selling used golf balls, collecting bottle caps. What's up with that?
It's the perfect example of his investment philosophy, even in its earliest form.
Really?
A used golf ball is basically an undervalued asset, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Plus, he was already demonstrating the power of starting early, accumulating little by little, just like that snowball analogy.
And get this, there's a story about Buffett delivering bread for his dad's grocery store. He apparently hated when he had to buy bread from a competitor and those clerks recognized him.
Oh, wow.
You can practically see that competitive spirit forming even then.
And his frugality, too. It wasn't just about being recognized. It was the idea of giving that competitor a single penny of his family's money. Even as a kid, minimizing costs was ingrained in him.
So we're seeing the roots of his drive, but how does someone like Benjamin Graham, author of The Intelligent Investor, shape that drive into a strategy?
Graham is all about cigar butt investing.
Cigar butt investing.
Imagine finding a discarded cigar with one puff left. You get that last puff basically for free. Graham looked for companies like that, so beaten down they're practically worthless, but with enough assets to be worth liquidating.
Interesting. So basically finding those hidden gems that nobody else sees.
Precisely.
But then Buffett buys Geico stock going directly against Graham's advice. He saw potential beyond just breaking the company up for parts.
Exactly. It's a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
He's moving beyond the mentor, trusting his own gut to spot growth that others missed. He's seeing the future potential of a business, not just its current value.
Speaking of seeing potential, there's Berkshire Hathaway starting as a struggling textile mill. Seems like an odd choice for a rising investor.
Here's where Buffett's vision shines. He wasn't buying a textile mill, he was buying a vehicle. He saw Berkshire as a way to transform a fading business into a powerful conglomerate, a platform for future acquisitions.
Wow. And he was relentless even trying to buy shares from his own partners. Almost ruthless, wouldn't you say?
More like incredibly determined. This wasn't about squeezing out partners, it was about believing in Berkshire's potential when others didn't. It shows that contrarian streak, that willingness to zig when everyone else zags.
And then, of course, there's that famous Buffett quote, "Our favorite holding period is forever." This idea of a long-term game seems crucial to his thinking.
It all boils down to the power of compounding. Imagine those early investments held for decades. The biography is full of examples where a few $1,000s given time turn into millions. That's a lesson most people miss.
Yeah, it's about playing the long game, not chasing quick wins. But it's not just about the money, is it? His relationship with his wife, Susie Thompson, sounds fascinatingly complex.
Susie's impact on Buffett was huge. Think about it. He's this finance whiz living a pretty traditional life in Omaha. Susie comes in with her bohemian spirit, her connections to the San Francisco art scene, her passion for philanthropy. It broadened his world in ways he probably never expected.
They were a study in contrasts, though. From what I read, Susie actually lived in San Francisco while Warren stayed in Omaha. Not your typical marriage, even for the 50s.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, how did they make it work? And more importantly, what did each of them bring to the table that the other one needed? It wasn't about changing each other, but about complementing each other.
And then there's the Salomon Brothers scandal. This could have been devastating to Buffett's reputation. What happened there?
It's a masterclass in crisis management. Buffett gets pulled into this bond trading scandal, and instead of shying away, he takes the reins. He becomes CEO of Salomon Brothers, faces Congress head-on. This wasn't just about protecting his investment, it was about safeguarding his integrity.
But it sounds like the culture at Salomon Brothers was the complete opposite of Buffett's own values. They were aggressive, high-risk takers, which clashed with his more disciplined approach.
Absolutely. This wasn't a comfortable fit for him. And yet, he saw it as his responsibility to clean up the mess, even if it meant getting his hands dirty. He could have walked away, but that's not how Buffett operates. He saw a problem and tackled it head-on. It really showed his character. He could distance himself, but instead he walked into the fire. It's a powerful lesson in leadership, not just investing.
So we got this picture of Buffett. Frugal, competitive, a long-term thinker, willing to fight for what's right. But the guy's also famously avoided tech stocks for years. With everything we've learned about him, how does that fit in?
That's what makes him so intriguing, right? Even with these deeply held principles, he's not afraid to adapt. Remember those excerpts about his trip to China with Bill Gates back in '99?
Yeah, what about it?
The height of the dot-com boom, everyone's chasing tech, and Buffett's focused on?
Uh,
Coca-Cola.
Sticking to what he knows, even when it seems like the rest of the world's gone mad.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Even though he didn't invest in the dot-coms directly, he wasn't oblivious to the power of technology. He saw what the internet could do, both good and bad.
You're thinking about Geico again, right? How he was already talking about the threat of online insurance back in the 90s.
Exactly. He saw that a company like Geico, strong as it was, could be disrupted. But he also saw the opportunity, the potential for them to use technology to their advantage.
It's like he always said, the best business to own is one that, over an extended period, can employ large amounts of incremental capital at very high rates of return.
He's looking for businesses that are built to last, that can weather storms and adapt to change. He recognized that technology was becoming increasingly important, but he didn't want to invest in something he didn't fully understand.
And it's not just about understanding the technology itself, it's about understanding the businesses that can use that technology effectively.
He said many times that he prefers to invest in businesses that are simple to understand with products and services that have a durable competitive advantage.
Absolutely. He's not looking for the next fad or the next hot stock tip.
Right.
He's looking for businesses that are built on solid fundamentals with strong management teams and a clear path to long-term growth. And when he finds those businesses, he's not afraid to buy them at a fair price and hold them for the long haul.
He famously said, "It's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price." That pretty much sums it up, don't you think? Without a doubt. He's looking for quality over a bargain basement price, and he's patient enough to wait for the right opportunity. He understands that the market is driven by emotions in the short term, but in the long run, it's the fundamentals that matter.
Speaking of the long haul, let's talk about philanthropy. He's become a huge advocate for giving back, but he chose a very specific path, right?
It's interesting. He could have started his own foundation, controlled everything, but instead he goes all in on the Gates Foundation. Why do you think he did that?
I think it speaks to his humility. He recognizes that Bill and Melinda Gates have expertise in areas where he doesn't. He trusts their vision, their ability to make a real impact on global issues.
And it's not just about the money, is it? Buffett is actively involved in mentoring young people, teaching them about investing in philanthropy.
Yeah.
He's using his platform to shape the next generation of leaders.
It's like he's saying, don't just inherit wealth, understand how to create it, how to use it wisely, how to make the world a better place.
And he's not afraid to challenge conventional wisdom. He's been outspoken about executive compensation tax policies, even criticizing his own industry at times. He's not afraid to ruffle some feathers when he believes something is wrong.
He once said, in the business world, the rearview mirror is always clearer than the windshield. It seems like he's always looking ahead, anticipating challenges and trying to find solutions.
And he's not afraid to admit when he's made a mistake. He's very open about his investment blunders, using them as learning opportunities, both for himself and for others.
That's a rare quality, especially in someone as successful as him. It's that willingness to be vulnerable, to acknowledge his own fallibility that makes him so relatable, even inspiring.
Absolutely. He's not some untouchable figure on a pedestal. He's a human being who's made mistakes, learned from them, and achieved extraordinary things. And he's constantly reminding us that we can do the same.
It's funny, we think of him as this old school investor, but he's also the guy who said, the most important thing to do if you find yourself in a hole is to stop digging. That feels very relevant to the tech world, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to change his approach when the situation demands it. Even in his later years, he recognized the incredible success of companies like Apple and Amazon.
And he did eventually invest in Apple.
Right, exactly.
Proving he's not just stuck in his ways. But there's a difference between acknowledging a shift and truly understanding it.
And that's where that story about the Detroit-Windsor Tunnel comes in. Remember, Buffett couldn't wrap his head around why anyone would pay more for a toll just because of inflation. Charlie Munger had to point it out.
Yeah, it's a great anecdote. It's a great reminder that even someone as brilliant as Buffett has blind spots. But the key is, he surrounds himself with people who challenge his thinking, who help him see those blind spots.
That's a crucial lesson for any investor, really.
Yeah.
We all have biases. We all have areas where our thinking gets a little fuzzy. The key is to recognize that and to seek out diverse perspectives.
Speaking of different perspectives, let's circle back to philanthropy. Buffett could have created his own foundation, put his name on it, controlled every dollar. Instead, he chose to trust the Gates Foundation.
It's a decision that has sparked a lot of debate. Some people believe he could have made a bigger impact with his own foundation. But I think it speaks volumes about his character. He's not driven by ego.
It's like he's saying, it's not about me, it's about the mission. He sees the Gates Foundation as the best vehicle to achieve that mission, even if it means giving up some control.
And let's not forget, he's still very much involved in shaping the next generation through his mentorship and educational efforts. He's not just giving away money, he's sharing his knowledge, his values, his experience.
It's that commitment to education, to empowering others that I find so inspiring. He's not just leaving a financial legacy, he's leaving a legacy of knowledge and action.
Exactly. He's demonstrating that real success isn't just about accumulating wealth, it's about using that wealth to make a meaningful difference in the world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the life of Warren Buffett, what's the one big takeaway you hope our listener walks away with?
I think it's this. Buffett's principles of investing in life aren't just for billionaires, they're for everyone. The power of long-term thinking, the importance of discipline and patience, the willingness to learn from your mistakes. Those are timeless principles that can benefit anyone, regardless of their background or aspirations.
He's a powerful reminder that success isn't about luck or privilege. It's about hard work, dedication, and a relentless pursuit of your goals.
And never underestimating the importance of giving back, of using your success to make the world a better place.
Well said. This deep dive has been a fascinating exploration of a truly remarkable individual. I hope it's inspired our listeners to think differently about their own approach to investing, to life, and to making a positive impact on the world.